Alta.
Thank you, sir. I'm pleased to have the opportunity to respond to the 2025-26 state budget. I want to particularly commend the Leader of the Opposition, Vincent Tarzia, for what I thought was an excellent budget response yesterday, which didn't just highlight the failures that we see evident in the budget, a diminishing surplus year on year from $458 million in operating surplus down to $179 million. That the year just gone has had its surplus cut from $248 million expected down to just $18 million. The Leader of the Opposition didn't just highlight the extraordinary record $48 billion debt, which is double that which was in the 2021 budget prior to the Labor Party coming to government, nor the impact of that debt being nearly $7 million in day interest payments, an extraordinary achievement in the negative sense by this Labor government. It's natural for any opposition to highlight these failures of governance and failures of prudent management of the public finances. And he did that. He did that very well. But he also outlined some clear new paths forward which would improve the outcomes for people in South Australia. And some of the policy initiatives were very important. I know that my family is one amongst thousands, if not tens of thousands of families who would share with the Leader of the Opposition the experience of trying to get a GP appointment after 5 p.m. on a weeknight or on a Sunday morning, only to find out that very few GPs operate in such hours. The Liberal initiative to indeed have a 2-year trial program sponsoring GP surgeries to remain open in those hours will be welcomed by thousands of families across South Australia. We urge the government to take up this suggestion, of course, but if they won't, we will. The Leader of the Opposition highlighted the Liberal policy to give first home buyers seeking to enter the housing market to have a home of their own the opportunity to have a head start, if you like, against the developers, against the people with large investments by removing stamp duty from the first homes owners, because so many of those families are telling us when we're at their doorsteps that they are unable to even get a foot in the door of their first home. The Premier responded to that yesterday, slamming the proposal, suggesting that it was going to only be an advantage to sellers of houses. I think that's nonsense. The Premier has his head completely somewhere in the clouds if he thinks that that is going to be the impact. What I see when I talk to first home buyers or first home buyer people who wish to be first home buyers is that they attend open after open after open to find that they are priced out of the market by people paying cash for properties, or people who aren't looking to buy a home indeed for their own opportunity to live in, but to make money out of it. And instead, this Liberal policy will give those first home buyers a leg up. It gives them an advantage against those people they're competing with. I suspect it won't change the sale price of properties very much. It'll, however, give those first home buyers an opportunity to be in the mix. It was a good speech. It highlighted a better way forward for the people of South Australia to consider, a Liberal way forward, rooted in Liberal values, with strong Liberal policies articulated, and I commend him for that. I think that one of the things that I noticed as the member for Morialta when the budget was read out just under 2 weeks ago was that despite the record debt, despite the significant deficits, despite the failure of the government to meet its election commitments, the promise to fix ramping having long gone by the wayside, the promised hydrogen power plant having been abandoned, it was supposed to be producing electricity less than a year from now, and after this expenditure of tens of millions of dollars, it's now in the dust as well. Despite these broken promises and these significant debts, it was a disappointing budget and that didn't even provide any of the significant responses that we need in my electorate of Morialta. Long-standing issues such as the urgent need to improve the intersections of Moores Road, St Bernard's Road and Arthur Street, no attention at all. This is an issue that's increasingly becoming problematic, not just because of the long-standing urban infill in the Ross Trevor and Magill area, which the government is now seeking to further extend as a result of their desire to have housing in the old Magill campus site. That will be presumably a few years away yet if they have their proposal go through, but nevertheless it's on its way. There's also a high school on that intersection, which currently has just under 600 students. It's growing year on year with an intake of 200 students every year. It'll have 1,200 students within 3 years. The growth in population, where just the school population in the area alone has doubled in the last 15 years, highlights the urgent need for attention to that intersection. The Liberal Party has promised synchronised lights at Mills Road and Arthur Street, moving the existing pedestrian crossing. Nothing from the government. It's disappointing. And equally, in Highbury, residents, whether they live near the Hope Valley Reservoir and Elliston Reserve or on the Highbury Aqueduct Reserve or near Silver Lake Reserve, all of which have been decimated by the loss of pine trees as a result of giant pine scale infestation, those bodies that own that land, SA Water, the Environment Department, Tea Tree Gully Council operating on behalf of state government, one of those reserves, they need to have budget for replanting, a restoration of amenity. That was not delivered here either. Disappointing budget, and I, as member for Morialta, as a South Australian deserve better, and I commend the Leader of the Opposition for his response.